the companies that can use this, they don't even need to know that this is powered by the Fediverse. They will go and they will have a complete experience in the batch fed.
Welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 37 of Fireside Fedi. I left the chat open. Let me fix that. There we go. I'm your host, Ozoned. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're watching this, you are part of the Fediverse. Mao Pacheco is my guest today. He loves tech, learning, traveling, and discussing ideas, not intentions. Mao has strong opinions since the 90s, which I need to find out about that one. And he developed simple tools for the Fediverse, such as almost static activity pub, vocalcast, and badge fed. And as I warned him, we're a pretty predominantly open source and Linux community here. He does work for Microsoft, but we'll get into that because they get a lot less hate than they used to, which is good. But Mao is awesome. He does not represent his employer. He is himself, and he is a pretty awesome guy. Welcome, Mao, and how would you like to be addressed?
Yeah, no, I'm Mao. Thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited to have a talk here. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming.
Mao is fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. Before anything, I have to say, this is not that I have a whole lot of episodes. I've never really done much content creation. This is kind of the first thing. But I've never had anyone create a shirt specifically for the show. And then not only that, like within the last half hour before the show. I have to know, you have to talk about the shirt first and foremost. So, do you want to show off the shirt? Because I love this.
I mean, yeah, so I don't know. I love t-shirts, right? Custom t-shirts. I was also, since I was very young, into Linux and stuff. So creating a t-shirt that has like a Linux logo or something, it was very special for me. But lately I was like, you know what? I will just create my own t-shirts, right? So I created a YouTube channel and a logo and stuff like that. And then for this live stream, I just realized I don't have anything about Activity Pop or the Fediverse. And I wanted to do that. I have a few ideas about that. So I think it was probably yesterday or 2 days ago I bought this t-shirt. I saw this nice bear. And yeah, so today I just did it. Yeah, I like the results. I put Activity Pop here. So it is a nice one.
For our audio listeners, I was wearing is it black or dark blue with a little, it's a cool bear that has some sunglasses on and is drinking something. And then he actually on right across the center of it says good vibes, open protocols. And then it has activity pub. That is amazing. I love that.
Yeah, I love the colors and everything. I think it is very good. Yeah,
it's like good stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, how did you get to where you're at today?
Sorry?
How did you get to where you're at today?
Oh, where I am. But I don't know where I am, but yeah, so I am from Mexico. Yeah, I don't know. I am originally from Mexico. So I was born and raised there. People always ask like what part of Mexico, and then I answer, and then they don't know where it is, but it is basically close to the beach. So it's close to the Pacific side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's close to Puerto Vallarta. I think people sometimes know where that is.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
And then I moved 8 years ago to United States. So I am living in the Seattle greater area. I do work for Microsoft, but here I am with my personal opinions, not my employee. In Mexico, I study computer science. I am a software engineer. I was between, I don't know, like cybersecurity or software development. I did a lot of years about software development, and then I moved to system administration for another big company, IBM. So I worked in startups, IBM, as a consultant, software, all of that. And then I moved to the United States for work to us. It's not that small, but it's like a medium company. It's a background check company as a software architect in PHP. And then I moved to Microsoft to work in a part where we work directly with customers. Yeah, so that's basically me. I have always been a supporter of open protocols and open source. I was anti Microsoft a few years ago. I did say that to my interviewer. Um, and then I was that Linux guy that just knocked to the door and it's like, just use Linux. And I was with my Ubuntu CDs or whatever. Uh, and then yeah, I mean, I use Linux in my personal computers and everything. So yeah, pretty familiar with the open source thing.
So does the open source side of you scream and yell at you every morning that you have to go into the office?
No, I mean, because we work a lot with open source projects. We do
Right? Yeah.
support open source repositories, and we work with open source basically. In like this part of the company, we work with open source a lot. Um, we do create open source repos and projects we support. We look for open source alternatives. We work a lot with Kubernetes, so we are very
Okay.
involved in all the Kubernetes stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, no, I mean, even when I joined IBM, the part of the company that we were working on was very focused in Linux too and IEX. In the startup, I joined that startup specifically because they were using lamp, which was Linux, Apache, PHP, and things like that. So
Yep.
yeah, no, I actually enjoy what I do. If that would change, I would probably move to another place. Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because it's ubiquitous everywhere, right? If you work for a company that's not leveraging open source in some way, then they're just missing out on ridiculous amounts of benefit and money. You have you also have a YouTube channel, which you've been talking about AI and LLM on there, right? So like you touch all the dirty words.
I do. Yeah, I mean, the YouTube channel was basically to improve my communication skills. Like it was more like
Mhm.
a personal thing,
Yeah.
more like how can I go across, because my first language is not English, right? So I wanted to like just improve that part and see how can I came across. But oh my gosh, like being a content creator is so much work. Like you just spend like 1 hour recording something and then I don't know 4 or 5 hours just editing the stuff. So my respect for all the content creators that does this for full time. It is a full-time job,
Oh, it's
and
insane. Yeah.
I have a kid and family and stuff. It's just overwhelming. So I haven't dedicated a lot of time there. But in my job, I mean, it's Microsoft. We use a lot of AI, so that was the thing that
Oh,
was
okay.
in my head at the time. So I just create some videos, but also when I create something, I try to do it something that maybe is not that, I mean, it's not like the mainstream stuff. And now, I mean, at the time when I created the YouTube channel, LLMs were not mainstream, and now they are.
Hmm.
And now it's like it doesn't motivate me to do another AI, I don't know, video anymore. But yeah, probably I will choose something else probably for the next one.
Are you still doing content creation there? Because that was going to be one of the questions I asked you. Obviously, since we're on the Fediverse, have you thought about uploading it to PeerTube, which adding even more work to your plate, right? But
I do have a PeerTube. It is in things Makerspace or MakerTube.
right? Oh, you do have
I
one on MakerTube.
do upload it um just batch fed and Fediverse related things, because I have a lot of side Fediverse projects that I want to do. I also stream it in Oncast with Luis, a friend. So yeah, I want to continue doing that, especially in the Fediverse, but I haven't had the time, to be honest, and it's not my priority. But yeah,
Yeah. So okay, I did find your where's the thing? The raccoon
all
bites.
right. So
Mao
Maker Tube.
Pacheco MakerTube.
I probably
Yep.
need to, yeah. Let
Oh, I
me
didn't
let me
grab
send
them.
the links. But
I can't even see it because I didn't grab the browser.
I mean, if you go to my profile
There we go.
in Hashiderm, probably
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
probably it's there.
there's
No,
only a
it's not
couple
that, but
things
I
on
will
it.
upload it. I will upload it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to. I'll make sure. I'll make sure I link to you. But and it's interesting
Yeah.
because you and I have kind of crossed paths a couple of times. Cross paths at Fedi Forum, where you showed off Badge Fed, which we're going to talk about that. But then, as you said, looking at you also did. You also do. The hell's the link? You were called out on the Owncast newsletter in May 2025 for setting up Owncast live on the fly. And one of the things that I absolutely loved about this, which I am not brave enough to do this, uh, when you set these things up, you don't read the documentation beforehand. You jump in and see how far you can get by following the standard documentation. That
Yeah. But that's the way that I learn, right? So different people learn in different ways. I am the
yeah,
one that doesn't read the documentation and just go and try things. But I recognize people learn different ways. My first YouTube channel video was about how to use Let's Encrypt to add my certificate to my channel. And I saw a comment in the chat that my certificate just expired. And I
yeah, I
just
saw
go
that earlier.
back to that video to see how I did it. But the thing is that in that video, like the first 10 or 15 minutes, everything is wrong. Like it's how to not do it. I was just trying it. And then around the 10-minute mark, I got how to do it. So yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's just having fun. And
but
then I
it's
had a
it's
live stream a few.
it's such a good idea though, making, because we always say, you know, you need to document your stuff, and this makes a record
Mhm.
for you. And as I've told people, like, I love when I was writing documentation for companies, I loved it. And everyone's like, why? It's like, because I know in 3 to 6 months when I have to do it again, I'm not going to remember it. So I want to make it as verbose as possible so that I can walk through it and just do it without having to think about it. But doing it live, you're recording it actually, and you can get yourself back into that habit. But also, I think one of the big strengths that a lot of us undercount is if you're doing it live and you're struggling and you're failing, which I actually did with Bonfire. I attempted to set up Bonfire live. I never looked at it, and I failed. But the developers, you know, messaged me and they said, you know, watching it back, they see a lot of the pain points that I was talking about. They see how things were confusing. It is a massive benefit to those developers to see, okay, well, that's not right. That's outdated. That's not what we meant. That kind of a thing. That can be massively useful as well.
Yeah, and there are two reasons. Like first one, the one that you mentioned, and that is one of the things that I do in my day-to-day job. When we
Yeah.
use an open source project or even Microsoft tools or whatever, we go through the process and then we say, oh, the documentation can be improved in this way, and then we create pull requests for the documentation. Like this is
Yep.
how, like the friction, right? Removing user friction. So that's
Yep.
one thing. But the second one in content creation, a lot of people, especially younger engineers, go there and see videos and see everything working, right? And they say they have this
Yeah.
what is called like the syndrome that you
Oh,
are
the
faking it. uh,
imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. They have the imposter
Yeah.
syndrome, like, oh, all these content creators just like everything is just working. What they don't realize is behind of that, you have
Yep.
someone that was struggling and then recording and just cutting the parts that didn't work. So I wanted to
Yes.
show like more closer to how you actually do things, how you actually code, how you actually solve things, because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work at the first time. So I think showing that struggle also is important for that people.
No, I 100% agree. I've tried to, because I have two little kids and of course they love to watch YouTube. And I've gotten them into some of the engineers that I like to watch. Mark Rober, which I think pretty much everyone knows Mark Rober, and his Crunch Labs creates. And when he does his videos and talks about things, he talks about all of the different iterations that they had to have in order to get to the end result. And I don't remember, there was some Crunch Lab toy, and he's like, yeah, these are 27 different products, steps
Mhm.
in this one product that we didn't ship. And my son looked at me and he's like, 27? And I was like, yes, I told you. It's important to be smart, but it's more important to work hard and be persistent because you're not going to get there the first time, right? Like you're going
Yeah.
to face struggle. I mean, I'm a terrible coder. I'm not a software developer, but I can imagine, maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me, Mao. You have never created a piece of software that didn't fail in some way the first time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like you always need to fix something. You need to learn from it. It is very difficult to create something that doesn't have a bug or something. So yeah, for sure. It is not gonna work. 90% of the time it's not gonna work at the first time. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Well, and that, as I've been started to tell people, is like that's what makes us human. That's what makes us unique and interesting. Is
Hmm.
that if we got it right from the first step, there is no room to grow. There's no room to learn. By getting it wrong, that is your opportunity to grow as a person, and that is what makes us unique, in my opinion. And I kind of love
Yeah,
that.
I believe that we are like humans, and our brain is has been developed, or the evolution to survive, right?
Yeah,
So you remember not the good things, but you remember like the bad things. That time that
yeah,
you ate, like, I don't know, a rotten pineapple and then you got sick. So that's what you remember. Like, why do I remember that? Because your
yeah,
your your brain is preparing you to survive. So yeah, for sure, if you don't make mistakes, you are not learning from that, and that is from like a more basic brain level, that the brain is going to be prepared more to remember the bad things. And
yeah.
I mean, the day that you deleted the whole database and then you felt that adrenaline, like, oh my gosh, I deleted the production database, you're going to learn from that more than from a book. So, or the day
I've
that you
fortunately,
had a demo and modified something 5 minutes
yeah,
before, and then it just
no.
breaks, and you are not gonna do it the next time.
I don't know what you're talking about. Demos always go off perfect. I love it. And actually with the was it FediCon recently, there's one video that started and someone's like, thank you to all the IT guys here to help fix this. It's like we have people that could literally write stuff that changes the world, and yet we can't figure out fucking laptop sometimes. You gotta love
Yeah.
it, man. Demos. Um so I believe Vocal Cat came first, right? And then you built Badge Fedi on top of that, or which one came first?
Yeah, Vocal Cat. Well, um, so I was in the Fediverse for a while, but it was not until I started creating tools that I understood activity pop in a more fundamental level. Like, what is this about and why is this important? Once that
Yep.
I understood activity pop, it was like, oh my gosh, like a mind blowing moment. I want to create more things for this. So what I start doing is like I start creating small bots, bots that
Okay.
did, I don't know, a few things. Like, and one of the things was getting content from an RSS, something very simple, and then posted that
Yep.
into the Fediverse.
Mm-hmm.
Also bringing my static side to the Fediverse. So that was one of the first things, like the almost static activity pop. And I know that before that I did that, other people did it as well, but I was just experimenting on trying to bring my static side to the Fediverse. So once that I did that, it's like, okay, this I love this. This is has potential. But then I volunteer for a nonprofit. This is
Mm-hmm.
Tech, and I have worked with. I have friends that are content creators and things like that in the mainstream media platforms. So then I was like, oh, I want to bring these people to the Fediverse. How I do it, right? So the first thing that I think about it was to create a cross posting tool, and I think I show it. That is Vocal Cat. It was created as a cross posting tool from bring. It is not aimed to the Fediverse people. It is more aimed to people that are on still on Twitter or Facebook or in LinkedIn, and that is the main way that they post. They are not going to change from one day to another because every different platform has a different vibe. So I wanted them to be able to um, keep posting as they are doing it, but at the same time start like getting their dips or their fingers into the Fediverse. So that's why I created. I haven't updated that as much lately or put as much effort, but that was the main idea of Vocal Cat. Yeah.
Okay. No, and I mean I love the
Yeah. And
I'm you seem to be an artist as well, because that's beautiful website. Um, but no, I agree. You have to meet people where they're at, right? And give them an easy way to get onboarded. And then once, you get
mhm.
bridges that can be made easily, you start showing them the fun things and the features and whatnot. Um, so you made Vocal Cat in order to help people kind of make that transition over here. Um, do you do you kind of talk about the Fediverse and push the Fediverse as well with friends and coworkers and things like that?
I do, and sometimes they are like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
I didn't know that that was possible. So yeah, but like with Vocal Cat, again, the main focus of Vocal Cat is not the people that is already on the Fediverse, but
Right,
it
right, yeah.
is um I send notifications, and one of the notifications is like, "Hey, I see that you are using a microblogging stuff in Twitter or like in Blue Sky. So why don't you try to create an account in the Fediverse, right?" Um, and again, Vocal Cat is not about. I mean, it just solves half of it, which is posting, but you don't want
Hmm.
people to broadcast, right? The other half that is the most difficult problem is how do you get people engaging and answering things.
Yes.
And I know
Yes.
that other people has talked about I think Molly White has talked about that. Like, yeah, half of it is how do you post, but then half of it is how do you go through the comments and just get that. So that is still a problem to be solved. Um, but yeah, I mean, Vocal Cat was like a Trojan horse where I'm trying to get people into the Fediverse in some
I
way. Yeah.
I love that you call it a Trojan horse, but yeah, that's exactly it, right? And I think that that's where we have a distinct advantage. I've heard again, I never really used X or Facebook or any of that, but what I've heard time and time again, and maybe it's just observation biased, is that while something like Twitter, someone might have 10,000 upvotes, they don't have anyone really interacting. And that's what I think most people want. We mostly want to reach out and talk to someone, like you and I talk. And yeah, the upvotes are nice, but there's a lot more engagement in the Fediverse from what I've heard than on those kinds of standard
Yeah, yeah.
platforms.
I have a Twitter account and I don't use it anymore, but I think at one point I had like a 2,000 followers, something like that. And then I posted and I barely got any interaction. And the Fediverse, I had, I don't know, dozens maybe of followers. And then you got people actually engaging. So that is what you want, right? You want interaction. It's a social media thing.
Yes,
It's not
yes.
like a social networking, not social media, right? So social networking and the social aspect of it is interacting with other people, with Twitter. And I believe since they put like the blue mark where you need to buy it, you don't get any engagement if you don't buy that. So it's like a pay to play, right? That sucks like a lot.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but then I also, and if you go to Reddit and other kind of parts, a lot of companies were like, okay, what is the Fediverse? I want to get there, but then how do I get verified? How do I get statistics, right? How many people is engaging with my posts? How do I compare that against my other social media? So those kind of things
Mm,
that are more like
yeah.
productionalized or more commercial things are missing. Like in a single tool, there are some tools to analyze uh, everything that you do in the Fediverse, but that is missing for those kind of companies. So that was also another part what I wanted to create Bococa, like more like institutions or companies that wanted to get there. But again, I mean, it is a training horse. I haven't invested a lot of time there, so I need to do it. Yeah.
So is badge fed an answer to how do I verify who I am, or is that completely a separate thing? Because I know that Badge Fed. Well, why don't you talk about Badge Fed, and then we can talk
Yeah, for
about that
sure.
question.
I volunteer for a nonprofit, and then one day we organize hackathons. We organize hackathons so we can educate other people about tech for Hispanic and Latinx communities. And then one day it's like, okay, why don't we go to give digital credentials? Like, oh, you completed this hackathon, right? Like a skills verification. And then we
Right.
went and knocked the door to Credly and said, hey, give me a quote. And it was insanely expensive. Like, this is super expensive, especially for a like third-party company that is emitting your credentials. It's not like you have an account there. It's not even your own credentials, right? It is like what certificates for websites were before Let's Encrypt. Like, you needed to
Okay.
pay an
Yeah.
insane amount of money for a certificate for your website that a
Yep.
third-party company will say, oh yes, you are whoever you said you are. And then Let's Encrypt came and then changed the field. Now you can get a certificate for free,
Yep.
and it is validated. I mean, they certify that you are who you are. So it is the same. It's like, okay, this is expensive. I don't think we can pay this, especially for a nonprofit that relies in donations. So we
Yeah.
decided to create something like a batch mechanism or a verified micro credentials platform. And we do also want to get this open source, but we have other priorities. We have volunteers, so we don't have full-time employees or paid employees. So
Mhm.
I start doing this as my side project, and then I create BatchFed. And I was like, well, Activity Pop is nice, and a lot of people like Mike from Flipboard and other people said, I want to see experiences in the Fediverse that are not only clones for existing experiences, right? You have
Right.
Pixel Fed that is an Instagram like. You have Loops that is a TikTok like. You have Mastodon that was a Twitter like. You have
Yep.
Ghost or Rightly that is a Substack like. So like, what new experiences can we have here? And that was like, okay, I can implement batch thread here, like, because you give credentials to someone to verify, I don't know, if someone volunteers, skills verification, you complete a course or whatever, you attended a conference and speaker, and then people can like, comment, and share, which are like the base things of a social network, and the base thing that the activity pub supports, right? So it's like, okay, I need to be able to create this here. So that's how BatchFed was born. And of course, there are already standards like verifiable social credentials, and then open batches and things like that. So I just use those standards, and then I put ActivityPub like a layer on top of that. There were other efforts already. ActivityPub batches, I think, is one of them, but I didn't saw a lot of movement there, and I just wanted to create something, so I just went there raw, and then I created that. So that's BatchFed. And lately it has been I don't know, like, I have been having other people using that, like FediCon. I help Charles to create an instance for FediCon, so hopefully we can get batches for the people that was there as an attendee or speaking, a
Oh,
podcast.
nice.
And then there is Fediverse Games, which is an
Yeah.
instance of the Fediverse that also is going to give batches. And then I create community credentials. So community credentials is community credentials, which was the main thing why BatchFed was born. Was I want to give non-profits that be able to transform their communities with credentials. So that is the main focus right now for me. Um, it is not related with VocalCAD. I think we can, um, like, I don't know.
I know you probably want to hear what happened next on the show, but the following section is only available on the Fediverse. These uploads to big tech platforms such as YouTube, they're just to spread awareness about the Fedi. They were never supposed to be the official way for you to watch the show anyway. So go on and get the full episode on video.firesidefedi.live. It is absolutely free, just a different website. This video will now continue from a bit later in the conversation.
If you have a podcast, right, or you right now, you can say, oh, all these, I was a participant of this podcast and I have this badge and I can show
Right?
it.
Yeah.
But also, and another important part of this is sometimes you don't want all your badges to show. So be able to
Yeah.
say, this is a private one and this is a
Oh,
public
okay.
one. That is something also that I am implementing, because sometimes you have like a professional account and then you have a gaming account. And I mean,
Right.
that is possible here.
You don't
Some
want
people
your company checking out the weird anime story
Yeah.
games that you've been playing, right? Like that's none of their business. That's all you.
Yes, but I mean, there is technically it's feasible if you want to unify all your profiles. I am working on that, how to verify your profiles, and you have different Fediverse accounts showing all your badges in one page. But also, if you want to keep it private, that is fine. It's not gonna show there. It's gonna be still decentralized in the Fediverse, like a private mentions, but it's not gonna be showing there. So like privacy is important here, and then flexibility for people to use it as they want. So yeah, I'm super excited about that project, to be honest. Yeah.
Where do you see it going? Like what if Microsoft for some reason or some other company was like, here's unlimited money that you need to build this out. What do you have planned now, and where would you like to see it go in the future? Maybe again, if money is not an option.
I actually wanted to keep it as simple and as small as possible. So I want to keep it open source. I want to.
Are you really a developer? Are you sure? Developers normally are supposed to. You're supposed to go for the world, right?
Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, and I saw a comment. I will try to find it. It's like a plugin system. It is what you want. You want the platform to support the minimum things, and then have people think about adding plugins in different ways. So I want to support the base batch fed thing,
okay,
which is like the activity pub, the different. Probably with the money we will do more front end work, but also support other kind of specifications, like verifiable social credentials is a W3C specification, open batches 2.0, 3.0, other kind of things. Also, maybe support Blue Sky if possible. But anyway, like with this, is like just keep it as small as possible. And then people adding plugins, like you may have like a content management system. You may want to have some way to have templates for creating batches, or putting there like a marketplace for designers to put them batches, maybe automated ways to add watermarks to your batches, all kind of stuff. So I really have a lot of ideas, but all those ideas I wanted to be as plugins. So like a very strong plugin system will be the first thing that I will do.
Okay. How do you, I guess one of the questions I was going to ask earlier is how do you, or is there any way, or this is kind of, a failure in the system, is how do you prevent someone from taking the same badge that I have and becoming a, issuer with a similar name? There's no centralized authority, right? It's just you run your own server, you set up your badges, and then you share them out from there, right?
Yeah, so one important aspect is like there are some rules, right? Like the issuer, and the issuer needs to be an Fediverse actor, activity pop actor. The issuer in the open batches 3.0 specification, the URL of the issuer needs to be an activity pop actor, right? So even if you create a new, and the activity pop actor has public keys and private keys and things like that. So you cannot like a spoof or the issuer and say, oh, I am emitting this. Because even, I mean, when you go to the batches right now, and then you click verify this by an external thing, it will use verify independently. It will use an open batches 2.0 badger verification. So you cannot spoof an issuer. But of course, you can create an issuer that is very similar with your own domain, right? And you can I don't know, emit or issue malicious batches. So one of the things is like here, you need to accept the batch. You need to say, hey, I will accept this batch. If not, it's not gonna
Good.
even create the batch.
Okay.
Because I mean that is important. When you accept the batch, you select I want this to be private or public or whatever. Because if not, I mean I can give you batches that are malicious or something, and then
Right. Yeah.
that is gonna show in your profile and decentralized, and you don't want to do that. So people need to. It is an opt-in, right? You need to go there, and then you need to click accept. That's the first thing. And the second one is like it also doesn't decentralize by default. Like it is not like in Mastodon that if someone follows someone and posts something that automatically can show in my Fediverse feed. It is not like that. Right now, you need to go and you need to say my server, it is following this other server, and I will follow by default. Only when you click follow is when, and by the way, issuers follow other issuers. So then when they receive a message in ActivityPub, that is how you decentralize the batch. But only if you accept and follow another issuer, that's when the batches get decentralized. If not, the
Okay.
batches are going to live just in one instance. So
Yeah.
everything is opt-in by default, not opt-out. Yeah,
Okay. No,
that is
I
by
love
design.
I absolutely love that. That is great because you don't want someone being like, "Oh, you're a part of, this situation." Like, "No, I was never there." And it's like, "Oh, but your badge says you were." Um, but also
Yeah.
one of the things that I think this could be very useful in, again, I know it's kind of a dirty idea in the Fediverse. It's a dirty idea in open source, and like we hate it in the web is advertising, right? Like I when we were at Fedi
Mm.
Forum, because you and I were at the last Fedi Forum together, and a lot of folks were pushing back on the idea of advertising, and I myself and only a couple other people were like, it's going to come. However, it's not going to come in the version that we have today. It's going to come in some other way. And I could see something like this, right? Like if again, because I'm on Twitch all the time, someone gets sponsored to play a game. It's like, here's,
Hmm.
a badge for the game. It's a drop and you can show that you supported this streamer or something. And that in itself, just seeing, hey, I like Coca-Cola or something like that, or I support Ukraine or anything like that, you have a badge, and that is a form of advertisement as well.
It is. Also, because the batches are decentralized, if an instance go down, like right now, Credly
Right.
disappears, all my batches disappear. And
Right.
here the batches outlive the instance itself, which is really important because if you are giving a badge for like a coupon, like for BatchFed, let's say that I want to create a commercial version of BatchFed, and now
Right.
I want to give discounts for the people that I got there, but then my instance disappear. Someone can say, hey, I mean, I was originally a co-founder or supporter of this project, so now I can use that as my discount, right, for another thing.
Yep.
So it can also go in coupons, right? You don't need a code. You can just have a badge that shows that you were participant of this web. So I mean, the
Well,
applications are yeah, mind blowing.
no, that's kind of what I thought about with like certifications, justifying that I got this certification, right? So let's say you went to a Kubernetes camp, right? And you got Kubernetes certified, but that camp shut down. It's like, well, I no longer have this certification to show because they all have IDs, right? You have this specific ID. You have to go to this database at the company site and verify that you, in fact, did get that certification. But with something like
Mm-hmm.
this, that company can go away, but your history can't. Your history that you
Mm-hmm.
have, what you earned, stays with you. You get a one of the nice things about decentralization is you get a permanency to something that is inherently ephemeral. And this is a great example of that. And I love that.
Yeah, no. When I was young, I was speaking at conferences in Mexico, open source conferences, like Linux groups or the, I don't know, software, like free software conference of Mexico, whatever. And then one year they disappeared. The websites were gone. I don't have way to prove, hey, I was a speaker here, right?
Right? Yeah,
And the
exactly.
same can
Yeah.
happen with the Fedi forum or FediCon, right? They can disappear one day because, or they can evolve. So I mean, having the badge like I was a speaker in all of these conference is important,
Yeah.
even if the conference itself disappear. So
It's
I think it has a lot of potential. Yeah.
and it's credibility. And that especially in
Mm-hmm.
tech, that matters. Talking at all these different open source forums like that is a big thing that matters. One
Yeah, no,
of
I
the
mean, I have applied for a developer relations job in the past, and they asked that, right? Like, in what conference
yeah
have you talked? Like, in what, and sometimes you don't have that anymore. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a way to show you that I did this. So,
yeah no one so I was watching your I was looking through your YouTube, and first off, you're just like the nicest guy ever. Everyone seemed to just
what?
really enjoy you and talking to. Even the one friend that you had, that I'll get to in a sec because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. One of the questions that you ask your coworkers often that I'm going to direct at you now is, what is one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love to do those videos. I think advice will, it is very, it is weird when some content creators just give an advice and it's like, dude, this comes from your journey, right? What you live, your opportunities and everything. One piece of advice cannot be just generalized for everyone. Yeah, you need to go to a boot camp
Mm-hmm.
or you need to do this in order to be successful, right?
Yeah.
But I think one question that someone can ask is like, what is one advice that you will give to a younger self? And maybe if you identify with that person, maybe if you have a similar journey, maybe that advice will be helpful for you as
It
well.
resonates
So
with you,
that is
right?
something that I love it. I love to ask, and I have had some questions that I or answers that are really surprised me. So yeah, I love to do those videos. I have like a 10 or 20 videos that I haven't edit on that topic. Yeah.
So you actually, I think you asked your manager, and she said, "Go to the beach and just read." And you're like, "Okay, I'll see you later. Then I'm gonna go to the beach." And the other one
Yeah.
that I absolutely loved was, and you could tell that it was a good friend, or at least it seems like it was a good friend of yours. That you said you asked that question, and he said, "Don't meet this guy," and he was pointing to you, and that was the end of the video.
Yeah, that actually is a customer. It
Oh,
was a
okay.
customer that I was working on. So you can see that we have a very good relation with customers. And
Yes.
in those two videos, the reaction was natural because they didn't know what I was gonna ask. And both of those videos,
Yeah,
they
that's the way to do
say,
it.
"Hey, I would want to do the video again." Because I didn't. I mean, I didn't want
No.
that to be the actual answer. But I mean, that was perfect. It was a natural reaction. So yeah.
No, and there's no right or wrong answer, and in the moment makes you really stop
Mhm.
and think, and there's no do-overs in life with that, right? Like I do this, and I post all of the, the blemishes in it
Mhm.
because we're all human. We all need to see the silly answers that we give, and the fumbling and whatnot. Like, we feel embarrassed because it's not perfect, but neither is life. I love that.
Yeah, that's true. And thank you for the reminder. I may bring those videos to the Fediverse as well. So yeah.
Yeah, you should. They're great. I love them. But it also, again, as someone that is not a fan of Microsoft myself, um, yes, they can do right and wrong. It humanizes the people behind it,
Mhm.
right? And that is important. And learning that there are people, and you have fun, and you have bad days, and just trying to be kinder to everyone, I think should go for everyone. No one at well, there might be people at Microsoft. I would imagine the majority of people at Microsoft are like, I just want to have a good job, and I want to make some cool stuff, and I want to help lead, the direction in a good route, kind of a thing, right? Even people at Google, even people
Yeah,
at
and
Meta,
and that applies to other companies, right? Like I
yeah,
did a poll, like, a few days ago, like what is the most hated company in the Fediverse? Like, answer with your gut, like done logic. And it was weird. Microsoft was last one, like 10%, but most people hate Meta. And I mean, for a reason, right? So, I mean, I get it. But then when you have discussions, and I have sometimes discussions in LinkedIn where people know that I'm working for Microsoft because it is there. Sometimes you have like the ad hominem, right, discussions where, oh, what did you know if you work for Microsoft? Or they start doing personal attacks just because you work with Microsoft, right? They discard your ideas. So, and as you say, I mean, there are good people everywhere. There is good people in Meta. I mean, I have
yeah.
neighbors that work on Meta, and they are good people. There are Everybody's makes different decisions, and everybody can say, oh, I will never work for this company or whatever. But there is good people everywhere. So that is true. So yeah,
Did
I mean, I thought it was nice with me. Yeah.
did you show your coworkers your poll and you all had a party that Microsoft was last?
No, I don't think feels. I don't think everybody knows about what is the Fediverse. So I need to spend like, I don't know,
You
20
just
minutes explaining about it,
right.
and then probably we can have a conversation later. But yeah.
All right. So then I'll flip it on you. What is one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self?
Oh, that's difficult. I haven't think about an answer.
It's funny
um,
because you ask everyone else, right? But you're never
yeah,
used to being asked.
yeah. So I would. This is weird, but I would probably try to be more opportunistic with
Okay.
certain things that I had in the past. Yeah. So I mean, for a lot of time, and by opportunistic, I don't mean like bending ethic or moral things. I mean that sometimes you have, for example, like a position that is open as a manager, and you don't really want to be a manager. You want to be like, I don't know, technical and stuff like that. I had that a lot of times in the past, but sometimes for the company or for other people, that is a very easy way to just check mark leadership skills, and that opens up more opportunities on things that you really want to do, right? I want to really go into, I don't know, doing some cool open source project, but to be able to do that, I need to mark that I have leadership skills. So, and I always rejected that. I always rejected to go to a job position that I don't really like. I was not opportunistic. I stayed in a startup for 6 or 7 years because I was like I was very idealistic of the things that we were doing. So probably a little less idealistic and more opportunistic in my career would have helped to land in a place where I will, or maybe land faster in a place where I can make more impact to the world in the ways that I want to make impact too. So yeah, that will be
Okay.
advice for my younger self.
All right.
The thing
Yeah.
is that some friends told me that like all the way, and I always rejected. So I don't know. It will need to be myself in a time machine to actually believe that and doing it. So yeah.
Well, and then how do you prove that you're yourself from the future?
With badge fed. So I will have my instance mao.dev, and then I have the badge, verify that it is me.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. No, this is I all right. I love that answer. Okay. Well, now for the real reason I asked Mao here is to give him the opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. Our prize today,
Oh wow.
yeah, get ready. It's totally real and exciting. Yeah, absolutely real. Our prize today is a trained raccoon that can keep your SSL certs up to date.
What?
Thought about getting you an assistant that
Okay.
could give you lies for any question you asked, but we figured we have all the AI that can do that for us now. So
Mhm.
I told Patty the pathological liar to go home. You don't need that. You ready for the quiz, Mal?
Sure.
All right. Favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
What? Favorite movie? Well, no. My favorite movie probably, I don't know, Donnie Darko. I really like that movie.
Donnie Darko. I know that movie. Have you seen Donnie Darko too? Or it wasn't Donnie
No.
Darko 2, it was his sister. Right?
Yeah. No, or Life of P also, I like that. So no, sorry, no, Life of
Never
P,
seen
no,
that
like
one either.
P Cows, something like that. That was also a good one. What is the? Yeah, it's just P. Yeah, that's the name of the movie. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know P. I've never heard of P. I've watched Donnie Darko.
Or,
That's just a
Mhm.
weird, trippy movie. Jake Gyllenhaal's amazing in it. That's an old movie. God, how old
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah, sorry. Those are the first that
No, I mean
comes to my mind. But yeah.
Spaceballs is older than that. 2001. Wow. I feel old. Jesus. God. All right. Next question.
I think I haven't watched that movie. Yeah, but
Spaceballs?
anyway,
My
Spaceballs.
favorite movie. Spaceballs is great.
Mhm.
Spaceballs 2 is coming out. Spaceballs essentially is a Mel Brooks spoof of like the Star Wars sci-fi genre. I highly recommend it. I love it, but it's not for everyone. So, next question is Windows, Mac, or Linux?
Linux, yeah, for sure.
But you work for Microsoft. Don't you have to say Windows?
I mean, I have friends at Microsoft that work for Microsoft, and they can select Windows or Mac machine or a Linux machine. So it's not unheard of.
Oh God, I wish I could. Oh, Pi.
I mean, if you go to the Linux route, yeah, Pi. If you go to if you go to Microsoft and they say I want to use Linux, technical support is like you are on your own. Like,
yeah,
we are not gonna support your machine. You are on your own, but also your machine needs to install Intune or whatever the corporate stuff is. And if you cannot install that, we cannot support that. So it's like,
that's
deal with it.
I mean, when I worked at Red Hat, even Red Hat was the same way. Like everyone gets the RHEL install, and you can install whatever you want. But they said, if you want to install some other version of Linux, that's fine, but you're on your own. I mean, everyone's like, awesome. I'll be on my own. Sure. Why not? We can do it. Next question is, and because you're from Mexico originally, and now you're in Seattle, the question is Mexican burrito or Seattle coffee?
Mexican burrito, that doesn't exist. Also, Seattle coffee, that doesn't exist. I mean, in Mexico, yes, of course, there are burritos, but tacos is most common. And then Seattle coffee, no coffee is from Seattle. All the coffee gets imported. So that is a tricky question. I would probably say Seattle coffee just because I love coffee more than tacos. But I think but I think it's a very difficult one. It is there. Mexican tacos or good coffee. I think that's the right question.
I didn't mean
but
like there's only one
really
Mexican burrito. Like the country of Mexico signs off and says this is our burrito.
Yeah. All right. See, if Mexico creates a burrito and then Seattle creates coffee, I would say Seattle coffee. Yeah, still wins. Yeah.
Interesting. I love burritos. I mean, I drink coffee every day, but that's a necessity. That's not an enjoyment thing.
Burritos are most common in the north side, but maybe because the influence of Americans, like Tijuana, you go to Tijuana and there are burritos. But like if you go to the south, burritos is not a thing. Like, yeah, especially because burritos is like a flour, right? To flour tortilla. And in the south of Mexico, central Mexico, it is more like a corn tortilla. And you cannot make burritos with a corn tortilla. You need like a bigger one that is like a paper. So yeah, it's not really a thing, burritos there.
All right. Well, I'm showing off my American here, apparently. Okay.
But I mean, Seattle coffee is very good. Even if none of the coffee.
Even if there is no Seattle coffee. Gotcha. Well, I just thought of Starbucks is why. So, because they started there, right?
They do. I think most of people that are around Seattle don't like. Well, they consume Starbucks coffee, but they don't consider good coffee. Yeah,
it's not good coffee. Starbucks, in my opinion, Starbucks. If you have if you go to Starbucks and you have one of their drip coffees, which to me is a coffee, it's gross. The Starbucks coffees, they're just flavoring and sugar, right? Which that's fine. It's fine if you enjoy that. But that to me is not coffee.
I mean, it has a reason, right? They need to standardize the flavor, and it's very difficult with coffee that you have very different process for like I don't know, even cooking the coffee or roasting the coffee and where it's grown, the altitude and everything. It is very different, the flavor. So if they need to standardize that, they need to dark roast it in a way that it tastes the same, and then combine a lot of different coffees. So I mean, it has a reason. They are like a big company. They need to standardize the flavor. It's gonna be bad if you go to a Starbucks and then you go to the next one and it tastes different, right? You don't want that. So it is a problem, and that's how they solve it. So it has a reason. I get it. Yeah.
So lqdev.me just said in the chat, I feel like we need a burrito badge on BADGES, but I have one better. What if you had like a choose your competitor burrito badge versus Seattle coffee badge, and then whoever has more wins?
Well, you need to have like a standard question in this quiz, and then we can give a badge on either options to the people that answer this. Yeah. So.
All right. But what if they all say there's no such thing as a Mexican burrito or Seattle coffee?
Yeah.
Then I'm in trouble. Well. I don't know. All right. Next question is, what does an alternate universe Mao do?
I'm probably gonna be something with data, like an economist or something like that. Yeah.
Why an economist?
So I mean, a few years ago, I bumped into free economics. And I understood that economics is not about money, but it's about human behavior, like what kind of things, the motivations of the human behavior, and study that through numbers. So I really like that. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I reached out to an alternate universe. I have an alternate universe phone here. It's very technical. Okay. Don't ask. And that alternate universe Mao said he created a company called Microsoft. That Mao believes that the best software comes in huge packages. So he's created software and then he ships it on 5.25 meter floppies. But really, as he said, it's less of a floppy and more of a squash U. So best of luck to an alternate universe Mao and his Microsoft.
Oh, I see. No, a long time ago, I said, I don't want to found like a software company. So I'm not sure if I mean, that is true, but yeah.
It is. It's totally true.
When I was working in the startup and then I went to another company, a lot of the customers were reaching out and then to like create a project. So I had the opportunity to create like a software development company, and I was like, no way I'm gonna want to manage this. Nope, not for me.
But yet your advice to your younger self is be more opportunistic.
That's true. That is incongruent. So yeah, that is true. Like
Mao, last two questions. Well, first one is badges, bites, or beer?
What? Badges, bites, or beer? I love beer. But I think bites. I mean, I love coding more than drinking beer. Yeah.
Okay.
So probably it's gonna be.
Well, and badges are made
badges
up
is
of bites.
Just a side project. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. If we can do beer from bites, that would be nice. So I'm doing right now cider. It's my first time.
You could do beer. Yeah, beer while you're making your bites. While you're creating bites. Yeah, nice. And then, as usual, the last question will be sent to Mao telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you the question. Okay. Yeah, I'll send you the question. Take your time thinking about it. And let me know when you're ready and you can give me the answer, all right? You ready? Here it comes.
All right.
Okay, there's the question. Take your time. Think about the answer and then let us know when you're ready to give the answer.
Oh wow, this is a difficult one. I don't know. I think I just share everything about myself. I don't know if people want to reach out. Just my links are there. I don't think I have anything else to say. But yeah, just reach out, and I'm happy to have a chat anytime.
And I can verify that Mao is very friendly and lovely, and I'm sure is willing to help out for anything. All right. Well, congratulations. You got every answer either correct or incorrect. Good job. Unfortunately,
Cool.
the raccoon that we were going to train to help you keep your SSL certs up to date bit the handler, our community member, Dingus McDongle, knocked over the trash and then would sleep all day long and be up all night. I don't know what kind of craziness that is. So sadly, we had to let the raccoon go, and we also have to put Dingus down. But hopefully next time we can get you something better. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry about the technical issues, but best of luck with Badge Fed. It's awesome. I love the idea. Please don't stop building those Trojan horses, as you said, and moving them forward.
Yeah, I hope that more people code also for Badge Fed. If you have coding skills, I'm welcome any more people to code with me. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This was fun.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I agree. It was a lot of fun. And thank you to everyone that was watching and now sees a black screen, but is listening. Thank you all so much. You folks are the reason that this is fun, getting to talk to everyone. It wouldn't be interesting if I just stood here and talked to myself. But also thank you to all of the developers like Mao himself that is building out this really unique, interesting ecosystem for all of us to thrive in. Don't forget to tip your developers, tip your sysadmins, tip your whoever's running your servers. And even if you can't do that, just spread some kindness, spread some love, tell someone you like their shirt, tell someone you like their name. Like a little bit of kindness really does go a long way, and it's amazing. But everyone, we will catch you next time. Have a great one. Bye.